Hi, welcome to my podcast. The title of my podcast, as clearly shows, is The Family Conversations with Kika. So, for the past couple of months, so basically the introduction as to why I am starting this series of conversation. So, I found out that in the recent past, I've kind of been boggled with the idea of parenting, all right? Like conversations like what it means to be a father, what it means to be a mother, like what it means to be a parent in general. And why I think why this bothers me or why it's been on my mind is I I think I've been strongly considering the possibility of being a parent like very soon. So in the next couple of years I want to have kids. So I got to the point where I started asking myself, what are the skill sets I have as an individual to raise another human? So it occurred to me that, like, if when I took a look at the life of, say, like the average person, for example, say from birth to like 10 or so, we're mostly helpless. So our parents literally took care of us, did everything for us. Then you go to say turn to like early teens, to like late teens, you're practically still in school, and so say high school, then from there you go to college. Then maybe you're done with college at 23, 24, and you start working. So at that point where people begin to work, where they start thinking about falling in love and starting a family. Now, when people talk about falling in love and starting a family, they're basically concerned about their significant other. So then it is in the marriage, if they started one, or the relationship, then kids come. So I kind of notice that most people that have children, not a lot, actually go through the process of thinking about it before they actually do it, even before marriage. Not a lot go through the process of actually understanding what it really means to raise somebody else. And from my point of view, like what it means, it's basically understanding yourself, like going through that phase of life where you understand the kind of person you are, your kind of temperament, and what it actually means to be a father or mother or to have a child. So the responsibilities, the headache, the disappointments, and all that. So like with most decisions we make as humans, we are not we're not very balanced in our assessment. We are kind of like for the majority of the part, especially for something we want, we tend to be more optimistic and than realistic about the future of those situations. So when somebody's thinking about having kids, for example, they're mostly focused on the high notes. Oh, like you'll be fun, you have lead mini you do this together, you go there together, you take them here and there. So that grounding effect of okay, maybe when the babies they are crying, when they're in their cantankerous years as teenagers, and all that, like the deliberate like, the deliberateness that comes with it, like the kind of schools or the kind of training you want for them, how you're going to guide them, like what level of discipline you'd have, or the like level of discipline you give to the children or to yourself, like those kind of conversations are not really hard. And I see most young parents, because I'm at the age where most of my peers are becoming parents for the first time. I kind of like listen to their stories, the struggle, the expectations, and I miss the joy of having the child. There's other host of emotions that comes up here and there, and they're learning from the scratch. So basically, I decided to have like start like series of conversations with them, like mostly those in my circle. So I'm trying to have like an open, unscripted conversation for the most part with them, like from a place of honesty and sincerity, and have them talk to me about what it's like to bring children into this world and to actually train them. So when I look at the spectrum of friends I have those that are new parents, maybe a year, their children are under 1 year. those that have raised adults, those that have raised teenagers. Like they're different phase of the child upbringing process. And I'm thinking that I have conversations with them in preparation for my own fatherhood and get some insight from them and have an open conversations and let them share like whatever it is they've seen, the mistakes they've made, and maybe I'll pick up something from there. So I decided to have like a recorded conversation. So maybe not just me, maybe somebody out there that's about starting a family and is actively thinking about it. And even somebody that has already started a family and they are not thinking about it at the conscious level. So they can actually go through it and and listen. Maybe like get like some ideas on how to be deliberate with the kids. So I'll be going through the process of interviewing parents, mostly maybe fathers, mothers independently, then couples together, and having them on the conversations and having them share their experience. And I'll also be talking to professionals like educators in like people that are responsible for early child education, then therapists, psychologists, and those that would have insight to the like those that will have insight to what it takes to one raise children from the psychological makeup of the parents and also what is required from the child for the child rather. So you have a situation where the child requires a certain amount of attention from the parents, or they're basically sort of like guides to raise responsible children. Then there's also the psychological toll being a parent has on the individual parent and also on couple. So some families you might have tensions due to difference in opinion of raising the children. So like I like to have those informed conversations with those kind of people so they'll share their knowledge and their insight. So I hope this to be entertaining for the most part and most importantly informative. And it's basically my first shot at having this series of conversation. I appreciate your feedback. I like to have this conversation. I like to keep it going. And I like to see where it leads. You know, I want this to benefit the younger generations, those that are coming in to have kids. I want people to be more deliberate about child upbringing because like most people I know, like were like victims of our parents. So most of them were not deliberate enough in raising us as children. And those that turned out good, like had to sort of like take responsibility earlier on for the stages of their life. And I think it's because most parents are not deliberate about child upbringing. Like they all went through the motion, or a child came, they learned on the job, which is great. And some of them were not enlightened enough to know, or yeah, they were not so. So there's a lot of issues around child upbringing. So I'm hoping to use this avenue to explore it, to talk through it, and to see how the to see how people go through it and to just share information. That's just it. Share information. So that's me. That's my beat. So I'll make this a regular episode. Definitely be a regular episode. Maybe one episode a week. I have different people on. So try to come, listen. Your feedback is very important. If there's something you'd like us to go over, I have series of conversations with people. If there's something you'd like to hear, if there are kind of questions you'd like to ask, but because you're not on the podcast, you're not asking, let me know. I'll do that. And I'll be having like a Q&A maybe once a month where I set up like a live channel and have people join in and maybe have experts or people that are willing to talk about their experience on air and be asked questions about it. I'd like to do all that also. So I'm hoping you join me on this journey. I'm looking forward to see you down the line. Let us grow together. Let us start these podcasts from my bedroom and maybe transform it into something great where we'll have in-person one-on-one meet and have conversations, maybe video sometimes, you know. All right. Welcome to the Family Conversations with Kika. Nice to have you. Have a lovely day. Bye-bye.